He disappeared from the spotlight, but his voice never left the culture. He doesn't tweet. He rarely performs. He almost never gives interviews. And yet, he's one of the most influential artists of our generation. From soul-soaked storytelling to genre-bending brilliance.
You're my brother, but your eyes are cold. You're my sister, but your womb is bare. I bet our mother will be proud of you.
Frank Ocean redefined what R&B could feel like. Born Christopher Edwin Breaux on October 28, 1987, in Long Beach, California, but raised in New Orleans. Frank Ocean's story begins in the heart of soul and jazz. He grew up surrounded by music legends like Anita Baker, Stevie Wonder, and Donny Hathaway echoing through his childhood. But in 2005, Hurricane Katrina changed everything. The storm destroyed his studio, his home, his entire plan before anyone knew his name. Frank Ocean was already shaping pop from the shadows, penning melodies that millions sang, without knowing who created them, a chaotic, rule-breaking collective led by Tyler, the Creator. It was a strange fit. Frank was the quiet poet in a room full of punks, but it worked. In 2011, Frank dropped Nostalgia, a free mixtape that felt like a heartbreak journal and a revolution, rolled into one Novocaine. Swim Good and that eerie Coldplay flip. Critics couldn't believe it came from a newcomer. Frank Ocean had arrived and the industry was on alert. 2012, one album and everything changed. Channel Orange wasn't just music, it was a mood, a memoir, a masterpiece. Tracks like Thinking About You, Pyramids, and Bad Religion took listeners on a ride through desire, pain, identity, and memory like poetry soaked in soul and synth. But it wasn't just the music that shook the world. Days before the album dropped, Frank Ocean shared a deeply personal letter on Tumblr, revealing his first love had been a man. In a genre often boxed by hypermasculinity, it was a powerful, vulnerable move, a cultural moment that transcended music. The album earned him a Grammy and something even rarer, global respect. Frank Ocean wasn't just an artist anymore. He was a symbol. After the thunderstorm that was Channel Orange, Frank Ocean vanished. Behind the scenes, he was battling his label, Def Jam, for full creative control. The fight wasn't just legal, it was artistic. Frank didn't want to be a product. He wanted freedom. He built mystique like a master. No public appearances, no social media, only whispers and rumors. And somehow, that silence made his legend louder. Frank wasn't chasing the spotlight anymore. He was bending it around himself. After years of silence, Frank returned not with a bang but a masterpiece. August 2016, he drops Endless, a visual album streaming exclusively on Apple Music. It's hypnotic, abstract, and a chess move. It fulfilled his contract with Def Jam, and the very next day, he went independent. Then came Blonde. No label, no promotion. Still went #1. No radio hits, no chart chasing, just pure emotion, drifting, drowning, unforgettable. In an age where oversharing is currency, Frank Ocean chose silence. No interviews, no constant selfies, no live streams, just music and mystery. He's rarely photographed, almost never spotted in public. When he speaks, it's poetic, controlled, rare. Past partners? All speculation. Relationships? Always private. No children. No public family life. Just rumors and a deliberate distance from the spotlight. For Frank, privacy isn't a lack of transparency. It's power. He's not flashy, but make no mistake, Frank Ocean is rich in more ways than one. With an estimated net worth of $16 to $20 million, Frank has invested not just in music, but in fashion, art, and identity. In 2021, he launched Homer, a high-end luxury brand featuring fine jewelry, bold design, and surreal minimalism. No flashy marketing, no loud endorsements, just quietly curated drops and limited availability. True to his brand of mystery, he lives modestly by celebrity standards. No mansions on display, no Ferraris on TikTok, but behind the scenes, quiet wealth, serious taste. In a world of flexing, Frank Ocean makes being low-key feel like the ultimate luxury. Frank Ocean didn't just change music. He changed what music could mean. As one of the first openly queer voices in mainstream R&B and hip-hop, his presence shattered barriers in genres long dominated by hypermasculinity. His influence is echoed in the whispered vulnerability of Billie Eilish, the moody brilliance of SZA, the experimental flair of Steve Lacy, and the emotional openness of Khalid. Critics dissect his lyrics like poetry. Fans quote him like scripture. For many, Frank is more than an artist, he's a feeling. Where others shout, Frank whispers, and the world listens. He gave a generation permission to feel and left behind a legacy wrapped in emotion, silence, and sound. Frank Ocean returned to the spotlight at Coachella 2023 and left just as quickly. The highly anticipated performance was rare, emotional, chaotic, and deeply divisive. Some called it art, others called it a letdown, but everyone talked about it. As always, Frank moved on his own timeline. No explanations, no apologies. He's teased new music, cryptically, whether it's through a Homer commercial, a vinyl release, or a 2-second leak. Fans are always decoding clues, but with Frank, silence is part of the art. Frank Ocean didn't need to be loud to make waves, he whispered, and the world listened. Whether it was Blonde's Heartbreak Haze, Channel Orange's soulful reflections, or Endless's experimental edge, his music left permanent fingerprints on the culture. Now it's your turn. Which Frank Ocean album hits you the hardest? Blonde, Channel Orange, or Endless? Drop it in the comments, hit like, and subscribe for more stories behind the music.